Hi everyone, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody is having an awesome weekend so far. Students, in this class we're looking at IELTS speaking, part 2, the cue card, the long part, where you have to speak for 2 minutes. And this will be on the topic of a business idea. Hi Anna, Anahita, nice to see members in the class. Hi Zakra. I believe this is a subscribers chat class, so everybody watching, if you want to join the chat, just subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's free and you'll get notifications of these live classes. These materials are presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these classes. We have all of our videos, practice exams, and materials there that we use all the time. So check those out. The academic looks like this with the blue background. Just click this big red button right there. It's above my head to join the premium version. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. You can use the code VISIT9 for an extra 10% discount. And the price is different in different countries, so check your local currency. We try to make it affordable in every country. General IELTS, gieltshelp.com. Green background. Again, that's the buttons just kind of behind me there in this case. We are an IDP affiliate and a British Council partner and an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent. So you're in good hands. We help thousands of students succeed on their tests every single month with the right strategies and the right communication that is needed for both the academic and general tests. So check that out. Those students who are premium users of the websites, I sent you Zoom links yesterday. So check your Zoom links for tomorrow's class. Tomorrow we'll have a Zoom class for premium users, and on Wednesday we have 2 classes on Zoom every week for premium users as an extra with the course. So check that. And for the apps, you can go to Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. Instagram is IELTS_AE Help and GIELTS Help. So check that out when you have a moment. If you have questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. The schedule is now available for the next week as well. We've got speaking part 2 right now in just a moment. We have speaking part 3 today after this class in about 2 hours on the website. So another reason to create an account on the website. You can create a free account too, by the way. Deborah, if you have not received that link for tomorrow's class, just send me an email. I will send you that link within the next 24 hours. Nice to see you, Domenico. Michael White, good to have you here with me. Ariadna, nice to see you. Single and Savvy, good to see lots of students in the class. So again, last day of March, premium student Zoom class, and then Monday, Tuesday, no classes, and then back on Wednesday with another premium Zoom class, and the next YouTube class will be on Thursday, speaking part 1. Okay, everybody, so let's get into it. For speaking part 2, the cue card. Let's do this. All right, this is a gem. Business idea. You go to your IELTS speaking test. It is separate from your listening, reading, writing. It is a 12 to 15 minute interview. Usually it's closer to 12 minutes. And you spend about maybe 4 or 5 minutes on part 1, the introductions, general topics, talking about your hobbies, sports that you play. And then the examiner will say that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these questions, think about your answers, take notes in this 1 minute time if you wish. You have a note paper, pencil, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. Is that clear? They usually ask you if you understand the instructions. Be ready for that. Definitely say, something like, yes, absolutely, I practiced for the test, thank you. And then they'll say, okay, talk about a business idea that you have had. Okay. Now this is speaking, everybody, so it's great that you're listening. Do your best to speak and repeat. Copy what I say, copy how I say it. Okay, so the most important 1 minute of your speaking part of the test just started. It's kind of ironic because you're actually quiet during that 1 minute, and the only speaking that's happening is the speaking that's inside your head. But strangely, it is the most important 1 minute. The way that you think, the way that you plan, the way that you use that information for part 2 and part 3 will arguably have the biggest effect on your end score for the speaking section. Okay, so you have to use that 1 minute wisely. I still think there are a lot of IELTS candidates that do not optimize and maximize that 1 minute time. So certainly practice this lots and lots. I would say even with great English, you should practice part 2 and part 2 preparation at least 20-30 times before your actual IELTS exam if you really want to get that super high band 8 or band 9. Okay. Romelia, our chat moderator, is with us today. Hi, Romelia. Nice to have you in here with everybody. Romelia, I'll send you a little email about what and how as the chat moderator. It's swimming around in my head, so I'll make sure to send that to you. Romelia is one of our latest chat moderators, so long time coming, right, Romelia? Long time coming. Okay, so let's dig in here with this question. So you're presented these questions, okay? Now, I know a lot of you are getting this like misdirection or this bad advice that says, oh, the questions are just there to guide you. It's kind of scary. I have a feeling that some people are just kind of quickly looking at the questions and then, oh yeah, okay, a business idea, and then they start talking. The questions are there to guide you. They're not just there to guide you. So the questions are there to give you ideas, to give you direction, and ideally you are answering the questions on the cue card. Okay, I know, British Council website, some popular YouTubers, some other people are just like, oh, the questions are just kind of there to guide you, just be yourself, just talk whatever. No, it's not the idea. The examiner who's testing you, they're very familiar with the questions. They're looking for those answers. They know that those questions help you to create a well-structured and coherent, effective response for the topic. So ignoring the questions is a bad idea. Okay, I guess that's a good way to say it. So ignoring the questions, thinking they are just a guide is a bad idea. Okay, you should definitely do your best to answer all of them. All right, so all right, sounds good, Domenico. It's a good class to attend to gear up for sure. So the questions are the guide. Ghazi, you're in here too. Thanks for the super chat donation. So the questions are the guide that give you direction and help you structure your response. Okay? All right, so keep that in mind. Okay, so your first step, everybody, as I always say, is just really read the questions carefully. Even the topic sentence, the examiner says it, and sometimes students are like, oh, you said it or she said it, whatever, I got it. Talk about a business idea that you have had. But, you know, it's good to pay attention to this because, for instance, when you're looking at this one, you realize that it's not just an average question, right? Like there's different ways that you could ask this. You could say, talk about a business idea. Or you could say, talk about your business idea. But this question or this statement is not exactly these. Okay? It is exactly this. Talk about a business idea that you have had. Why? Why is this question in present perfect form, or why is this statement in present perfect form? So think about that for a second. Talk about a business idea that you have had. Why present perfect here, everybody? What do you think? What's the logic for it? And it's well used. So what does this statement request use present perfect? There's an answer there. Romelia says maybe it's related to the present. It's impacting your current situation. Ghazi says maybe it means that you've already done this, like you actually implemented your business idea. Saikad says, because I have already had this idea. Anahita says, because it's an experience that I have had. Yeah, so again, students, just a quick review for some of you. Present perfect is used to emphasize or express experience, achievement, change over time, repetition over time, and expectation. And usually it's one of these more than the other. Often it's a combination. So I agree with you, Anahita. There's a bit of experience in here. Deborah says maybe it's because you're still working on it. Yeah, it could be. Which one of these do you think this statement targets? Experience, achievement, change over time, repetition over time, or expectation? It's kind of targeting one of these concepts. What do you think? Which one of these five? Now, for those of you who are like, what? Present perfect? I thought it was just something that starts in the past, continues until now, and then maybe into the future. Yeah, that's the time logic of present perfect, but the conceptual logic, so the reason we use present perfect, is one of these five. Okay, Ghazi says it's an achievement. You had this business idea. It's your brainchild, we call it. Your business idea, this is a funny expression, is your brainchild. If you haven't heard that one, it's a good expression. It's your brainchild. Yeah, exactly. So as a lot of you are now saying, yeah, it's like your achievement. When you have a good business idea, you feel satisfied. You're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to be a billionaire. Look out, Elon Musk. Here I come. Amazon 2.0, Bezos. So you feel satisfied, you feel achieved, right? So you use the present perfect. Oh, I have had this great business idea. Just wait till you hear this one. Right? And so you've had this business idea, you achieved it, and it's kind of an expectation as well. We almost expect that most people, by the time they reach young adulthood have had some business ideas, right? Beyond selling lemonade. Right? So, and it's something that continues over time. Exactly. So right away you realize, like, I'm going to need to use a lot of present perfect here. Students, if you're kind of like, what, I didn't know all this about present perfect. Again, in your My Student account, when you have your premium access, or when you have your free access, actually, you can do this one for free as well. In your My Student account, it's kind of a little bit hidden, but in your full interactive course, in the writing course, or in the bonus writing, it's called the bonus writing course. And it's a big one, so it takes a minute to load. I think it has like 150 slides or something. So just be patient. I think I should break this up a little bit so it loads faster for you. But there are detailed descriptions for the reasons to use all types of grammar. Here you can.
Welcome to IELTS free online writing course.
Okay, and yeah, I think, what is it? This one, changing time of action. Anyway, it's in here. The present perfect and all of the reasons for using present perfect, but it also gives you a ton of other information about correlative conjunctions and lots more. So definitely check that out. Okay, it will give you a nice breakdown of all of these types of writing and essays, and even persuasive essay writing, etc. Okay. All right. So that's in your course. Use it. Check it out. Learn it. We're not going to get into that right now. All right. So back to this speaking part 2 cue card. Definitely use the present perfect when you're answering this question. Now, let's read the rest of the questions and then we'll get into it. So what was the idea? Where did the idea come from? How can this idea impact people? What do or did you need to make this a reality? So maybe you already implemented this business idea, maybe not yet. You're still working on it. It doesn't matter. You've achieved it, is what's important. You've achieved the idea. Okay. So, after reading it, in your next step, you recognize that this is an idea. When talking about an idea, you need to describe it. You need to talk about its origin or the reason for it. So where does it come from, right? Where does this idea come from? And then you need to talk about, if you know what you need, students, those of you who are regular students, you should be putting these in. So while I'm teaching this, for those of you who this is a review, some of you are regular students, and you should know what you need to do to talk about ideas or people or places, and in the correct order. So when I do this, what you should be doing is the same list in the chat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So describe it, describe the origin meaning the time and the reason. Okay, describe the requirements. What's needed for this idea? So again, for those of you who are new, IELTS Speaking Part 2, there are 5 kind of categories which cover mostly all topics, but you can divide them into 5 categories: people, places, objects, events, and ideas. These cue cards fall into one of these kind of 5 domains. And there are definitely specific points that when you talk about each, you will have good structure, good content, and better scores, okay? So describe the idea, give me the origin, the time and the reason, the requirement, what is needed for the idea, like money, people, resources, okay? Domenico, the results, sure. Activities is kind of a part of the requirements. It's like what you need to do. I need to go rent an office. So it's the results, and then that's right, Ariadne, it's the improvements. And then potentially the improvements, right? So how can you improve that idea? I could make this a little bit better if I use more technology for the administration, the bookkeeping, and the accounting, right? So the improvement to the idea. As long as you have a sentence for each of these, you're kind of on the right track. Now, step 3 is very important. Okay, so in step 3, come up with at least 2 to 3 ideas. And I think that a lot of you have probably had more than just one good business idea. So if you ask me, right, and this is where you have to be quick. You need to practice this at home because this is the most important step. Having a good idea is crucial, and you want to practice it. So if somebody said, hey, Adrian, 2 to 3 business ideas that you have had, I would go, okay, Bitcoin mining or crypto mining. All right. Selling 3D prints. And language school. Okay. So there, very quickly, in like 5 or 10 seconds, that's your kind of your main thing. So that's, I would think of those, okay? Really quickly, right? Anahita. Now make sure that when you come up with your ideas, you're able to talk about them, you have good vocabulary. So Anahita says this. Anahita says, decorate party rooms. There's a special word for that. The examiner will be looking for it. Anahita, what's the special word for decorate party rooms? There's a unique term for that. Cook and sell vegetarian dishes to neighbors. There's also a special term for that. You need those, Anahita, if you're talking about these. Let's help Anahita here. If you decorate party rooms, what kind of a business are you running, everybody? It's 2 words. You are something. Starts with an E and an O. Okay. And if you cook and sell vegetarian dishes to neighbors and such, then you have a business that starts with a C. Okay. Okay, so Juan, that's good. Yep, no, Juan, that one works. That's another way to say it. There's more than one way for some of these. Party planner is okay. There's another way to say party planner. So these are the synonyms that you would want to know, Anahita. That's right, Rahul. Very good. Rahul says that would be an event organizer. So a party planner or an event organizer is generally responsible for the decoration of party rooms. Okay. The technical term is an event organizer. And Alexander, thank you very much. Good job, students. Look at you with your thinking caps on. It only took you a few seconds and you nailed it. Good for you. Yeah, so Alexander says if you're cooking and selling dishes to neighbors and to people, then you're running a catering business. Absolutely. Anahita, did you take note? You can send a big thank you to your classmates for assisting with that. Yeah. BM. Ashik Uzman. Yes, catering. Nice. Anahita says, thanks, everyone. So you're an event organizer, you're catering. Now, students, be careful, right? Because if you answer this question, Anahita, and you're not using those words, the examiner is going to dock you for the vocabulary and coherence, right? So careful. All right. Let's see. Anybody? Deborah says selling breakfast. Yeah, breakfast. They're popular here, Deborah, in Victoria. We have lots of every street downtown just about has one breakfast venue for sure. So a breakfast restaurant, Deborah, is basically what you're saying, right? People love breakfast. Yeah. It's a big business here, and sometimes when I'm traveling to other countries, I'm always surprised that there aren't breakfast restaurants. All the restaurants open at lunchtime or later. So, breakfast restaurant. Often diners are breakfast restaurants. Yep. Dinesh says investing in Forex and stock market. Okay, so then what you're doing is you have an investing business, right? Let's take this out and put it here. So those were my ideas, and then we've got some ideas coming here. Stock investing. If you're investing in the Forex, like money exchange, then that's still just stock investing. Ghazi says online marketing clothes for all ages. Okay, so online clothing store. Sure. Deborah says aside from being a midwife. Okay, so a private midwife business. Yep. I have a very good friend here in Victoria, Deborah, who does exactly that. Her daughter is very, very good friends with my daughter. She has her own midwife business. Exactly. Okay, so Domenico says scuba diving center. Domenico, so okay, everybody, let's help Domenico here. Domenico says this, and you know, thinking about your part 2 answer for your cue card is super important. And I think we can help Domenico. This is what Domenico says. Domenico says, Adrian, because I'm a marine biologist and passionate about scuba diving, I can't help but think about setting up a scuba diving center in the future. Okay, so Domenico is a marine biologist. He's kind of stuck on this scuba diving center. What else do you think would be in line or related to marine biology that Domenico could set up as a business? Okay, gold investing or being a goldsmith or exchanging gold, BM, absolutely. Dinesh says running a courier office, sure. Yeah, why not? Those are all really good ideas. Now, students, once you have your ideas, make sure you start going through these steps. So start thinking about the idea, the origin, the requirements, the results. Okay. So, what else? Single and Savvy says you could set up a fishery. Ghazi says, how about a fish tools shop? Okay. Could be. Yeah, Domenico says, I'm committed to raising awareness about the importance of our fragile blue pale dot. Exactly. So Domenico, what I would do is, how about an aquarium? Okay. You could, and I don't mean like a little aquarium at home, but like an actual aquarium, like a large aquarium, like the one that just opened not far from me here in Sydney. So you could open your own aquarium, right? Or you could start an interactive online education website for youth about the oceans and marine life, right? So you could have an online school. There's a few of those. So my daughter uses one, and they're really cool. So there are definitely a few different ones. Okay, but an aquarium's one that comes to mind. Sea aquarium. All right, so keep your mind open, everybody. Now, once you have that, your next step is to come up with useful notes. Okay, so let's say that I go with, I'm just going to go with 3D printing, okay? It's a 3D printing business. It's actually becoming quite popular these days in many parts. So there's lots of information there, and it's one of my hobbies, so I know all the vocabulary behind it. Do I have any 3D prints here to show you? I think I might. Yeah. There we go. Let's see if you guys can see this. Can everybody see what that is? Let's see. There we go. There's a little 3D print here. I'll try to get it closer to the camera. It's a little figurine. He actually glows in the dark, and some of you who are Super Mario Brothers fans might actually figure out what I'm trying to show you there. But he's a fun little character that I printed. It's not Mario, Gazi. It's in the game though. It's Dry Bones from the castles. Okay. All right. So 3D printing business. Let's see. Gazi's like, oh, I got it. All right. Okay. So first of all, what is the idea? So the idea is to sell creative 3D prints and make custom merchandise for clients. Okay, so that's the idea. That's the description of it. Now, when I'm taking notes, I don't have time to write full sentences like this, so I would just write keywords like creative and custom. Okay, just to help remind me of those points. Okay, and then I probably wouldn't even write the word idea. I would just write the description. So I would write something like D and then colon. Okay. Now, the origin of the idea. So where it comes from. A couple of years ago, I realized that I wasn't able to find some parts that I needed for camping, and so one of my friends suggested that I use a 3D printer. Okay. So here, could not find broken parts, but again, I can't write all of that, right? So I would just write camping because I needed it for some camping equipment, and that will remind me of the origin of the idea 2 years ago. 2 years. Okay, so just like that, for your notes, you don't have a lot of time. Okay, and you shouldn't spend more than about 20 seconds on your notes. Okay, so you keep going like this, and then requirements are 5 printers, and then resin and filament. Some of you are into 3D printing, you'll know what that means. Okay, improvements, new printers, yearly, results, $100 in a month. So I'm just kind of writing down a couple of ideas to help me stay fluent and get going. Okay. All right. Hopefully everybody is doing this. Okay. All right. Let's see. Somebody's asking me a question. Somebody said, Adrian, why aren't you talking about your website that's got millions of users or YouTube? The reason why I don't want this to sound like a sales pitch for everybody, and I want you to realize that there are a lot of different ways. So there's not just one good answer. You have lots of good answers in your head. And if you think about your life, your hobbies, you visualize, then you can do a lot more. Okay? You don't have to be stuck on one idea. All right, now I have one last important step in my 1 minute preparation time. What is that, everybody? So in my 1 minute preparation time, I need to spend about 10 seconds to do this. Okay. What's my last step? It's my 5th step. Anahita says, get your first sentence ready. Absolutely. Okay. So prepare your first sentence. Don't use templates. I just had the funny idea of the templates. So prepare your first sentence, make it original, direct, and use the grammar and content of the topic statement. Okay, so again, for those of you who are just joining in, let me show you what I mean. This is really important, and I would love to see some first sentences in the chat, everybody. I know many of you have had some good business ideas, so I want to see those first sentences, everyone. We want to take a look at them. This is the part 2 question. Again, talk about a business idea that you have had. What was the idea? Where did it come from? How can this idea impact people? What do or did you need to make this idea a reality? So I need to use this sentence. Talk about a business idea that you have had. And my first sentence has to directly answer that question. So it should sound something like this. A great business idea that I have had just a couple of years ago is to open a 3D printing shop. Okay, so that's my very first sentence. I use the grammar I have had. Okay, you don't need to be fancy. You just have to be very direct. The IELTS examiners do not like to hear this kind of sentence. I have had many great business ideas over the years, like opening a restaurant, selling cars. But the one I would like to talk about today is, okay, so this is no good. All right. And if you're my IELTS candidate and I'm your examiner and you start with this kind of a sentence, I will look at you very seriously. But in my head, I will be laughing for sure. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me right now? Did you seriously just say you have had a lot of great business ideas like opening a restaurant and selling cars? So in my head, I'm chuckling for sure. But I'll keep a serious face and let you give me your business idea. So don't start like that, okay? This is not a movie, all right? The IELTS exam is not a movie. You're not talking about all your great business ideas, opening restaurants and selling cars, okay? Only way to make that better is selling used cars. All right, so let's see those first sentences, everybody. All right. Anahita, let's see. Anahita says, a business idea that I have had in the summer of 2022 was a catering business. Perfect start, Anahita. Perfect start. All you have to do now is develop that. Okay, so this is exactly how the examiner wants to hear you start your response. A business idea that I have had in the summer of 2022 was a catering business. Lovely. Okay, Ghazi, that's the same as mine. Deborah says, a business idea that I have had half a decade ago was to set up a breakfast restaurant in my new posted area. I'm not sure what new posted area means. Maybe I'm unfamiliar with that term, but in my new location, oh, where you live, I get it. So in my new residence, I would say. But maybe posted area is a way to express it in some other English culture, for sure. Okay, let's see. Okay, I see Juan, you're working on my idea as well. Anna has this. I've organized the legal webinar on 26 March for refugees who are staying overseas at this moment. Anna, you have to make clear that this is a business idea for some purpose. Now, of course, when we're talking about business, we are talking about finance as well, making money usually, right? So you have to keep that in mind and incorporate that in some sense. Dinesh says, one business idea, not main, Dinesh, just one business idea that I have learned during COVID-19 pandemic lockdown was investing in the stock market. Okay, let's improve that a little bit, Dinesh, because right now it's a bit confusing. So one business idea that I have engaged in or started to engage in during COVID. Nobody really says COVID-19 anymore. We just say COVID. And pandemic lockdown, I probably wouldn't say that either. I would use that in later, Dinesh, while I'm explaining the time. So one business idea that I have started to engage in, that I've started engaging in during COVID, was investing in the stock market. Okay, so now Dinesh, talk about the time and the requirements. So this was in 2019 during the lockdown when I had lots of time to spend at home on the internet. I began teaching myself through different websites. Okay, so that's where I would start including that information. Importantly, everybody, with that first sentence, keep it fairly simple. You don't want to make mistakes, and you want it to be absolutely clear for the examiner. Okay, so Dinesh, one business idea that I have started engaging in during COVID was investing in the stock market. Much clearer, okay? And more direct. The other information about the lockdown and learning how to invest and the different software that you use, that can come later as you're explaining it. Okay? All right? Okay, single and savvy. Keep it real. Single and savvy says, being an environmentalist, I have overthought starting a business that focuses on recycling plastic waste and turning them into new products. Okay, so again, single and savvy, it's okay, but students, don't try to cram too much information into this first sentence. You've got 2 minutes. You've got lots of time to go into details. So don't convolute the first sentence. Okay, I'm going to give you a tip here on this. Okay, so do not over convolute the first sentence. Keep it simple. Okay. So here, single and savvy, again, I would take this out for now. I know you want to tell us that you're an environmentalist, and I want to hear all about it. I just want to hear about it a little bit later, okay? You don't want to say overthought. Overthought is too much thinking. There's a way to, there's a fancy vocabulary for overthought or overthink. It starts with an R, if somebody knows the word. It's a high-level vocabulary. So overthink means to think too much, which is bad. Okay, so it's not good to do. And so it doesn't fit in that situation, single and savvy. So you wouldn't want to use it there. I have thought about starting a business that focuses on recycling plastic wastes. We usually don't count it, waste, and turning it into new products. So I would just start with that, single and savvy. And then the origin, right? So remember, students, keep those separate. Okay, the origin. I am an avid environmentalist, and I have been active as a... Okay, so add that later, right? Overthink, anybody? Very nice, Kevin. I'm not surprised. Kevin's got amazing vocabulary. Good to see you in the class, Kevin. If anybody wants to learn vocabulary, Kevin's your guy. Kevin's an English teacher as well, and he is certainly very clever when it comes to vocabulary. Good job, Kevin. Yeah, it's ruminate. Okay, so to overthink means to ruminate. You think too much, and it's not good. Okay, do not ruminate. Okay, you should not be ruminating. It's not good for you. All right, so students, one way, and I showed you this, I believe last week, to just practice this at home, is really just write one sentence for each of these. So describe the idea. What is it? Describe the origin, 1 to 2 sentences. Describe the requirements, 1 to 2 sentences. The results, 1 to 2 sentences. And the improvements, 1 to 2 sentences. So I'm going to do that just kind of step by step, and you can do the same. So let's work on the origin, so where the idea is coming from. Okay, so single and savvy, this is where you can explain, I had this idea 2 years ago when I saw lots of garbage washed up on one of my local beaches called so-and-so, and it was really disappointing. And then I realized, hey, what if I gather up all this garbage, melt it down or break it down, crush it, and turn it into plastic bags or whatever, toys, whatever you're making out of it. Okay. All right, so the origin of the idea. Okay, where does it come from? Okay, Fui Nguyen says, the business idea that I have had is to sell cupcakes when I was in grade 9. Open up your own bakery, right, Fu? All right, so a great business idea that I have had just a couple of years ago is to open a 3D printing shop. Excuse me. So I'm going to do these as separate sentences. I'm not going to do it as one big bulk paragraph, just so you can see it, okay? So this is the idea. So the kind of the quick description. And now the origin, okay? To be more specific, I had this idea 2 years ago when I went on a camping trip and I needed a special rope tie. Rope tie? I thought it's one word. Rope tie. Maybe spelling doesn't know what. Rope tie. Sure. And I needed a special rope tie, but I could not find it anywhere in stores. When I searched for it online, I found that it can be 3D printed. I realized that 3D printing would become an important part of society very soon. So I decided that I should start my own 3D printing farm. They're called 3D printing farms, by the way. Okay, so that's the origin. How many? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. Sure, maybe a little bit much, but you get the idea. Okay, so that's the origin. Now, students, again, write the origin. So it's great that you're paying attention and you're watching what I'm doing and the grammar and the vocabulary and some of these expressions, like to be more specific, helps me to join into this, right? Write your own sentence as well. So write down the sentence for the origin of your idea, okay? The requirements. I'm going to write the requirements while you're writing the origin, or you can work quickly and write the requirements at the same time, up to you. But again, the goal is just, let's go piece by piece. Description, origin, requirements. In order to start my company, I needed about $10,000 for 5 printers to rent a workshop and for building a website and advertising. Okay. Let's see what you have, everybody. Domenico, nice. So Domenico says, this is for Domenico's origin here. Or sorry, origin. So Domenico says, the idea occurred to me while I was studying marine biology and participating in several dive trips to pristine spots in Sicily, which left me speechless. Okay, Domenico, remember your numbers. What was the year? Biology back in 2021. Okay. Numbers can really help coherence, everybody. So remember your numbers. You're talking about a business idea. Time, money, amounts are very useful. Domenico says 2001. Okay. Ghazi says, I have heard the idea from my friend John, who is a computer engineer, when we were in a summer camp in 2020. Okay, good. Ghazi, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. Deborah says, the idea came from a Muslim woman I had lived with when I was in secondary school, who sells breakfast foods in a Muslim community in Fadama, Accra. Okay, sure. Yeah. Good, nice. So there's your origin, okay? So everybody's following so far. So you have the idea, you have the origin, then you have the requirements. So write your requirements. What is needed for this idea to be real? How much money do you need? How many people do you need? What kind of a place do you need? Do you need advertising, right? So all of these ideas, when you put them together to answer this cue card, will help boost your score, right? And you'll notice too that the questions on the card, everybody, usually match up with these points. So here it says, speaking part 2, talk about a business idea you have had. What was the idea? Basically describe it. Where did the idea come from? The origin. How can this idea impact people? So this is going to be the results, right? This is the next one coming up. So what does it do? What do or did you need to make this idea reality? That's the requirement. So same questions, just in different order, and they sound a little bit trickier, but basically that's what it is, right? Everybody following? Okay. All right. So the results of the idea. Okay, so even though I have not had enough time to really build this business idea, I have made about $5,000 in profit over the last 2 years selling custom prints to people for various needs, like missing toy parts, tools, and custom fidgets. It has made me a bit of money, and it certainly has helped others who were in the same situation as me during my camping trip. Okay. So that's the results of the idea. So again, description, origin, requirement, results, and now maybe some improvements. Okay. In the future, I hope I can find some more time to invest into this business idea, like an extra 20 hours per week, and so I can make a lot more money and potentially hire some employees. Okay. And then finish with, so always link. So if you want to signal to, this is another step. I haven't actually ever called this a step, but I should call it a step 6. And step 6 should come at the end of your speaking, not in your preparation time, is reflect back on the topic sentence to signal the examiner that you're finished. Okay, so after you've spoken for about 90 seconds, you can do this at any time. Okay, just make sure that you answered the questions on the card. So if the examiner is not stopping you, this is one of the very common questions I get is like, should I keep talking until the examiner stops me? You don't have to. And sometimes it's actually bad to keep talking, especially if you start making a lot of mistakes, going off topic, sounding incoherent because you're not sure what you're saying, you're repeating yourself. It's not good to do that. So it's not good advice. Sometimes people say, oh, just keep talking until the examiner stops you. No, not really. And if you've spoken for 90 seconds and you feel like you've done a good job and you checked the card and you made sure that you answered all the questions on the card, then you can wrap up your part 2. And the simplest way to do that is just paraphrase and reiterate the topic sentence, okay? So all you have to do is say something like this. Nevertheless, this 3D printing business idea is definitely my most recent entrepreneurial brainchild. Okay. And the examiner will be like, oh, that was a fancy way to wrap that up. You don't have to use fancy vocabulary. The idea here is to just, brainchild is one word. That I did not know. So nevertheless, this 3D printing business idea is definitely my most recent entrepreneurial brainchild. A brainchild is an original idea. Okay, it's your original thought. All right. And then that way we know that you are done. So take a look, everybody. Here it's just basically piece by piece. Let me go over this with you. And I'm seeing lots of writing in the chat, which is fantastic. I will look at that in just a minute. Okay. I love it. I love it. It's looking great. I'm seeing a lot coming from Fo, from Single and Savvy, Deborah, Domenico. It's lovely. Really nice to see. Okay, so here's the original question. Talk about a business idea that you have had. What was the idea? Where did the idea come from? How can this idea impact people? What do or did you need to make this idea a reality? Okay. So a great business idea that I have had just a couple of years ago is to open a 3D printing shop. To be more specific, I had this idea 2 years ago when I went on a camping trip and I needed a special rope tie, but I could not find it anywhere in stores. When I searched for it online, I found that it can be 3D printed. I realized that 3D printing would become an important part of society. So I decided to start my own 3D printing farm. In order to begin, I needed about $10,000 for 5 printers, $10,000 for 5 printers, renting a workshop, building a website, and advertising. Even though I have not had enough time to really make this business idea big, I have generated about $5,000 in profit over the last 2 years selling custom prints to people for various needs like missing toy parts, tools, custom fidgets. It has made me a bit of cash, and it certainly has helped others who were in the same situation as me during my camping trip. In the future, I hope I can find more time to invest into this idea, like an extra 20 hours a week, so I can make a lot more money and potentially hire some employees. Nevertheless, this 3D printing business idea is definitely my most recent entrepreneurial brainchild. Okay, and that's about 90 seconds. And at that point, the examiner will definitely say, oh, okay, that's the end of part 2. Now let's go on to part 3. Part 3 we're going to do on the website soon. Okay, Domenico. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Domenico says, nope, that's still Deborah. I'm not sure why we're still getting that one, but anyhow, let's try Domenico here. Domenico says the diving center would offer scuba diving courses that not only teach diving skills but also educate divers about marine ecosystem conservation efforts and sustainable practices. Nice. And then Domenico continues with, regarding making this business a reality, I would need to obtain the PADI diver instructor qualification, which I will be pursuing during my internship in the Florida Keys. Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of places you can do that there. And you're going to see Ernest Hemingway's house as well. Domenico says, I'd also need to find a suitable location for the dive center, invest in equipment and training, and hire experienced dive instructors who are passionate about marine conservation. I expect that the startup costs could be as high as $250,000. They'd be expensive for that kind of a business, Domenico, but you could get investment, I'm sure. Remember those numbers, okay? Also, I would need to develop partnerships with local diving centers and tour operators in tropical locations and establish a strong online presence to attract customers from around the world. Domenico, when you succeed in opening your scuba diving center, wherever that may be, Sicily or the Florida Keys, please keep a spot open for me. I will definitely go to your store or to your dive center, no doubt. And I hope you give me a special little discount. But that looks great. Domenico, you're definitely on the right track. Beautiful vocabulary. Just remember those numbers, okay? People communicate with numbers. And those high bands, band 8, band 9, quantification and qualification together, okay? Okay, Single and Savvy also has a nice... Everybody, by the way, your peers have some really good information here. They're giving you Band 8, Band 9 answers so far. So by all means, copy as I say these. So Single and Savvy is talking about a recycling business that recycles plastics and repurposes recycled plastics into new products. And then Single and Savvy says this idea was born out of a commitment to environmental stewardship and a desire to make a positive impact on the planet, especially when I noticed the huge amount of plastic waste on the beaches. Nice vocabulary, Single and Savvy, beautiful. And then we continue here, I see it. So Single and Savvy says, the impact of this idea could be significant. Firstly, it would help reduce the amount of plastic pollution in our environment. This means cleaner oceans, rivers, and streets for everyone to enjoy. Now, Single and Savvy, it's not bad. It's sounding very general, so try to make it more unique, more you, okay? The requirements, right? So to start the company, I need about $500,000 in seed capital to establish a plastic recycling depot. I would hire 3 to 4 people at the start to help me, and also dozens of volunteers to pick up plastic waste around my community and then the city, whatever city you're living in. So giving specific names of people, places, make your answers sound unique, and they will help to raise your score. Okay. All right, Anahita, what kind of items do you need to run your shop, your catering business? For the requirements, Anahita says, the items that I need for running this company is, if you already made the company, then past tense, but if you haven't, then present. So the items that I need for running this company is kitchen appliances, so I could whip up the meals easily, and some cash like Lonnie and Tawny, because some people prefer to purchase my products by I'm not sure what Lonnie and Tony are here. Oh, I think I know what you're saying, Anahita. Like loonies and toonies. It's the Canadian $1 and $2 coin, I think is what you're trying to refer to, Anahita. So the items that I need for running this company is kitchen appliances, so I could whip up meals easily, and some, it's called petty cash. Petty cash. Petty cash, everybody, is basically the change that businesses keep so that they can give change back. Petty cash. So small denominations of money that businesses get, usually from banks, so they can give money back to customers who pay with cash. Okay, it's called petty cash. Tricky. Okay, students, lots of great vocabulary, lots of great answers. You're still typing away, which is fantastic, but guess what? It's time to make this a little bit more real. I'm going to ask for volunteers on our website to give the response for this cue card. Go to the website, aehelp.com. You can do this for free. If you want, you can join our premium version of the site. It doesn't cost a lot. It's like $30. Okay. Thank you. Romelia has put it into the chat. It's yep, your student account, student partner speaking, and message me. Thank you, Romelia. Nice and concise. So what Romelia is saying is basically go to aehelp.com. You can join the premium version up above, or you can use it for free for now if you want with the green button. Go to the My Student account and click on Student Partner Speaking. And send me a message. And when you send me a message, yes, it's master and envelope. Thank you, Romelia. Very good. Nice and concise. So you'll find me as master. And then you'll find a little envelope next to my name. And you can message me as our premium student Deborah has, or Said Islam. All right, let's reach out. Let's connect. Deborah, you were the first, so let's give you a chance. Let's see if we can connect here. Hopefully it's a little bit better than yesterday. We'll see. Are you ready? Or at least for me. I need to wet the whistle here. My mouth is dry. All right, Deborah, if you're there, give me a sign. Ghazi, nice to see you. Students, good to see you volunteering. Lovely. Confidence, love it. Okay, Deborah, I'm not seeing anything from you as a response here, so not sure. Oh, there you are. Okay. Hi, Deborah. Can you hear me? If yes, speak to me. I don't hear you. Not sure why that is, Deborah. Maybe I'll have to contact my tech here soon. But anyway, Deborah, we'll try again later. Let me just see if it's the same issue with others or not. We'll see, okay? All right, Said Islam, I believe you were second. Are you ready? Said Islam. We haven't really heard of Said Islam's business idea yet either, and I'm kind of curious to see if we can connect and discover what kind of business idea Said Islam has had. Said Islam, are you there? I don't hear you, which is not good. I'm not too happy about that. I wonder if my microphone settings might be a bit out of whack. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that later. Said Islam, let's try something here just for fun. I should have tried this yesterday as well. Can you try calling me? I'm curious if we can. So please try to call me, Said Islam, just this one time, just to see if we can establish the connection going the other way. Okay. Probably jump out of my chair here in a second once Said Islam recognizes what I'm trying to do here. Thank you. Hello. No, I still don't hear you. Okay, I'll try one more student here, and then I'll just do a refresh here. So let's try Anahita. Anahita's here with me, and same with Ghazi in Canada. So let's just do this. So Anahita, let's give it a try. Ready? Okay. Okay. Let me just do a quick reboot here. Just give me a second. I'll come back, Anahita, in just a second, and then just give me a moment. Try to do a quick reboot. In the meantime, students, while you're waiting for me to make this happen, you can also put answers into the chat. So Said Islam, whatever you were going to say, you can put into the chat. I can take a look at it there. And in the meantime, I'll try to. It did work once yesterday, so I don't know. Sometimes these internet servers can be a bit funny, but Anyway, let's try it one more time. Okay. All right, Ghazi, I'm going to circle up to you and then I'll try, okay? So, Ghazi, are you ready? Let's try this one last time. I don't give up easily, and you shouldn't either when it comes to the IELTS especially. Okay, Ghazi, if you're there, if you can see my message. It's strange because we can message each other. It's just the audio is not working, and I wonder if that has to do with my audio settings in some way. The website maybe. Anyway, all right, let's see. Alexander maybe. Okay, let's try Alexander. And again, students, this is why we use multiple systems. So I know it's kind of a weird way to explain this, but tomorrow we've got the Zoom class for premium users. So that's one of the reasons we also use Zoom. Zoom's not perfect either, but it seems to work quite well. So let's try this. All right. Well, unfortunately, Alexander, it seems like I can't hear you either. So it must be something in the system. I think it's time for me to reach out to those techs and see if there could be some kind of bug in the system. I'll check that out and make sure that it's working for us for next time. So my apologies for that, students, but that is the nature of technology. So I'm not going to force it for now. Rather, we'll just go back to discussing it in the chat, if that works. Okay. It should be working, Side Islam. This is kind of new for me as well, so I don't know. I'll have to test it. Maybe I'll stay online and kind of check it out. But anyway, it is what it is. So what we can do is we can answer some of these in the chat. Okay. It could be Deborah. Are you able to connect with others? Deborah's saying, I think it's from your side, and it could be. But I do have audio coming through. Let me just... Yeah, it could be something buggy in the permissions. I don't know. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'll test it in the next few minutes here a little bit more thoroughly. So what I'll do is I'll wrap up the class there for now, because our next class is actually on the website. So I'm planning to do the next class on the website, and I just realized this could be an issue. So in about 40 minutes, I will have a class through the website using this button, this blue button. But in order to do that, the student partner speaking has to work. So I'm going to troubleshoot that real quick and see if I can figure that out. If some of you want to stay on for the next few minutes and help me test out the system, then we can talk, we can engage. And I'll try to do a little bit of troubleshooting, but I don't want to kind of bore people with that right now. There's a couple other steps that I can try if the mistake is in my computer or on my side. So come back in 40 minutes and then click this blue button. And if it's working and we can talk, then that's a good sign. That means I've figured out what the issue is. All right. Again, that's on the website at aehelp.com. And we'll continue with speaking part 3 in 40 minutes after I troubleshoot this issue. Okay. All right. Everybody, again, go to the websites, use them. If you have questions, send me an email. Premium students, you should have your Zoom links. I sent them yesterday. Deborah, if you don't have it, send me an email, remind me so I can send it to you. And I look forward to making sure that this works for everybody and come back to you with speaking part 3 in 40 minutes on the website. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Oh, by the way, that class on the website is for everybody, so you can join it for free and everybody can join. Okay, we just have to make sure that it works. All right, I'm optimistic. I'll see you all very, very soon. Thank you.